Right.
All right. Well, I thought we should welcome Greg to Making the Megas. Welcome, Greg.
Happy to be here.
Welcome, Greg.
I would love for you to share how you came to hear about the Megas or join the Megas, like how that came to be.
I remember Eric playing me the original Dr. Wiley recording. This was way back. And I think the reason that Eric kind of brought me in on it was, well, one, he knew that I played bass, but also I remember Eric and I and some other people back in college went on a road trip to the Sundance Film Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were working at a different festival out there called No Dance, but in the car, it was me and Eric and our buddy Kevin, who was on our old podcast back in the day. And we plugged a Game Boy into the little cassette adapter on the stereo, and we were listening to Mega Man music on the drive out to Utah. So he had it in his mind that he knew that I was into the Mega Man music too. So yeah, he told me about the project and asked if I wanted to play some bass, and we took it from there.
Amazing. Josh had mentioned that you were very instrumental in the message from Dr. Light. So I don't know, Josh, if you want to share what you were telling me.
But yeah, I just remember, I mean, Greg can tell me his side. I just remember, so message from Dr. Light, I just remember it was when I lived with Eric at the Mansfield, and I was playing,
yeah.
I think I figured out the part on guitar, like the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and that was about it. And I just remember handing that to Greg. Like Greg was sitting there in my room and we were kind of just doodling it for a while. And then I left town or something. I don't know what happened, but I was gone. And then I came back, and then Eric and Greg are just sitting in the room. They're like, listen to this. And I walked in and the song was like fully laid out. Like that's the way I remember it, but I'd be interested to hear.
I'm trying to remember. I kind of remember like you were playing that lead part, and then I just had like an acoustic guitar and just started playing like chords along to it. And then I'm trying to remember, there was something like I started singing some words for the chorus, and then you just kind of took it from there, like I gave you hair.
Yeah, I don't know how that became like the part we were like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always been a thing that if a lyric makes us laugh, then it generally
makes it in.
Yeah. But I remember, if I remember, Greg, you wrote the chorus, because that's not the chord progression from any part of the song. And that's just like your punk rock, like influence.
Yeah, I think it was like I was just playing along with that lead part, and then was just like, and then we could just do something like this. I don't know. Yeah, it was totally just a punk rock chorus, which kind of is like, I feel like we did a similar thing for Skullman. We ended up doing, because we had like the game track that we were playing, but then we didn't really like have a chorus, and it was a very similar thing. Like back in the old Dr. Light studios, I had an acoustic guitar and just started playing some chords and was like, I don't know, we'll sing something here. And then you guys took that for like a couple days, and then we're like, here, like we put some words on it.
Yeah.
Because I think I had something about cracked skulls, and that's
Dead
all I remember.
cells. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember how we even got those lyrics. Cracked.
That sounds like a Greg lyric.
I think the cracked skulls
that
was
me,
but I don't think I had the dead cells. I can't remember where mine went from there. I think I have like a voice memo of it on my phone somewhere.
Yeah.
See if you can find it right now.
I don't want to hold up the works, but we can put that in. We can put that in the bonus content. Put it in the comments.
So you didn't have any reservations about joining like a video game band. You were like totally on board, like
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. That's fun.
Yeah, like I was coming from a place of like I hadn't lived in LA for very long at that point. So I had finished college and I came up from San Diego and I was in bands like in high school and college, but I kind of thought that those days were behind me, and I was just doing the TV and film thing, and little did I know that like all of
this would now be the biggest
giant bulk of my playing days was ahead of me and not behind me. So yeah, I was really excited about it, and the video game thing too. It was like at that time we all, like, when we started doing our music, then we got really into like the mini bosses and the Advantage, and like the whole thing was just really exciting and new.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. And then did you always play the bass, or did you play any instruments before that, or was that always kind of like your instrument?
Yeah, I always played bass. It started out of necessity because I had a buddy that was a drummer and a buddy that was a guitar player. So then we were like, let's make a band. None of us know how to play our instruments really, but I'll go get a bass. And I'm left-handed. And at the time,
that was my question.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I'm left-handed, like pretty aggressively, but at the time it was like there was no, like, you couldn't order a bass on the internet. So I went to the guitar shop and I was like, "Oh, do you have any left-handed basses?" And they had like one left-handed bass, and it was like $1,200. And then it was like, or you could get this like right-handed Squier for like $120. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll figure out how to play the other way because I'm not really good either way yet. So, yeah.
I'm pretty left-handed, but yeah, same deal. Like, you know, when you start playing an instrument at school, like I think I started playing guitar in high school. So all the guitars in the cabinets none of them were left-handed. So it was like, learn, bro. So yeah, you just adjust.
I thought it would be fun for each of you to talk about which song off of Get Equipped do you love playing live the most?
I think The Message, probably.
That's what I was going to say. Well, so now I have to think more about a secondary option.
Or just like, why did you choose that one? What about it do you...
It just brings me back to my punk rock high school band days every time we play it. It's just freaking...
Yeah, it's a good energy track. So we always like end up putting it first or last or like in the middle after a slow song when we need to like ramp things up again. Like it's just kind of, it's one of those songs that's in probably every set that we've played. There's like a couple songs where it's really hard to leave them out.
Yeah.
But
or maybe Airman too is right.
Yeah, Airman is fun. I really like Airman. I think I'll say Woodman is like one of my favorite. Every time we get to play that song live, there's something about that song. I mean, it's like the third song we ever wrote, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's really fun for me to
I think it's
play, and I don't know. It's silly.
It's, I think, for a similar reason as The Message. It's just high energy and
it's a fun song to play.
Basic.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember, you know, you played me Dr. Wily when you first told me about it, and I think you might have.
And you were like, "These guys are geniuses."
I think you might have had Metal Man, or that was just like right after that.
Yeah.
And then I was.
Yeah, Metal Man was second.
So like I know I was definitely fully in the band when we wrote Airman, but Woodman is one where I'm like, I can't remember if that was kind of like part of the here's what we've got, or if that I feel like that was the like you had those three in some form before we actually jammed.
I think that's right.
I think you're right. I think those were the first three, and those were essentially like, because I remember Rizzy was in the room during the writing process, and I'd be like, Rizzy, get out of here, because But yeah, I think so. I think you might be right. I don't know if those songs were finished, but I think we were like experimenting with those songs.
Yeah, there was early demos.
We had
of those
demos.
ones.
Yeah. And then we brought Dave Jensen in to like play drums very early on, and I remember that moment we were trying to teach him the
Woodman.
the air or the Metal Man.
No, it was
break.
Woodman. It was Woodman, wasn't it? It was.
No, it was the Metal Man. Remember we took a beat out of.
Well, okay, yes.
Oh,
I think you're taking two and you're combining them because there was
stories?
a time because we cut out that part in Metal Man, like the 2 beats, and that was his idea.
Right.
He did that.
Oh,
that was his idea. But then we'd be playing it, and he'd always forget to do it, and we're like, it was your idea, But
yeah, I just remember us all three.
That was
Woodman pointing at him.
So Woodman was like. Or it was like just the initial no, it was was it the opening? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure.
I think
I don't know.
I think it was the opening drum beat.
Was that what it was?
Yeah,
and it was because
we were like, no, you have to do it exactly like it is in the game. That's important. You can't deviate from that exact beat.
Yeah, and he was new, so he was like, what are these guys? And all three of us were like,
and he's also like,
he's like, okay.
But he's also like a mathematician, kind of like genius, who's trying to he's like, this doesn't work mathematically. Like, it doesn't. That's
just
not what we're doing here.
Play what my mouth is doing.
Just play it. Watch my finger and my mouth.
I wanted to talk about your attire, your performance attire, and the evolution of uniform, non-uniform. So if you want to start from your very first uniform.
I remember one of our first uniforms was basically black pants, a blue belt, and a black t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then there was either before or after that was those arena lounge shows that I was talking about where we had some ties with some blue in them. We different, blue wristband, some black and blue accessories.
I think the goal was we were supposed at one point. It was I think when Brent was in the band, it was everyone wear as much black as you can with shocks of blue, and so it was wear a blue belt, wear.
Right, but again, all these mandates are always from Josh. Yes, and still are.
Then the evolution after that, our first official uniform was the valet.
The vest.
That one,
the valet costume.
Yeah, that one,
which Rizzy ruined when he mentioned that he saw a valet that was wearing our exact band uniform.
I don't know if you can call that Rizzy's fault. I mean, we were dressed like some other valet.
He was only speaking the truth.
It was funny because we wore those ballet costumes right up until that moment. And I remember, Rizzy came to the show and we played in San Diego. It was during Comic-Con, and the valets outside happened to be wearing blue dress shirts and black vests. And and it was when I remember seeing Eric's face when after Rizzy told him, Eric's like, we can't wear these. We look like
cancel the show.
It was done. And it was that moment forward, those uniforms were dead. We never wore those uniforms again. Yeah. There was non-negotiable.
So after the valet meltdown, what was the next outfit? Was that the one where you guys still had the button-down shirts, but then there was patches?
Then we spent almost 10 years in the military outfits, which maybe we should go back to. That was great. Those are great.
Those would be good for if we do a playing history repeating front to back show. We'll do the throwback costumes and then
we'll flex and tear them off of our body, and then our new uniforms will be underneath.
Or maybe I'll just take a deep breath.
Actually, that reminds me of with those costumes when we played a wedding. I still have a picture that comes up in my memories all the time of Eric ripping the sleeves off of that costume at the wedding after party.
Then, costume-wise, Josh, take us. Yeah.
Wait, so the ones that were black with the patches, was that all Josh, or did anyone have Like,
I think we found a shirt we really liked, is what it was. I just remember going with
at Express.
I remember
from Express.
It was like, Eric was like, "We're not wearing that costume. We're not wearing that costume again. It's not going to happen."
Yeah.
And so we're like, "Well,
Josh,
he's like, you made the rule. Go find us another costume." And so I think Greg agreed to go with me, and we went like to the Beverly Center or some mall, and we're just like walking around in stores trying on outfits, and I'm just taking pictures of Greg in different outfits, and we're like, "Oh, that was a bad idea."
I forgot about that.
There was one, I remember one, and I still have the photo somewhere, but there's like of Greg getting dressed, and it's like Greg barely got into the outfit. I was like, "Get out of that outfit. That's ridiculous. Like, what were we thinking?" I think it was like white pants. I think we were like, let's do all white with a Shaka Blue. And it was like white pants, white shirt, blue. And he's like, he looks like a milkman, you know? Just didn't work. Just didn't work.
Well, and I remember at one point too, we were thinking about doing like leather jackets, because we found these blue leather jackets at Urban Outfitters, which I actually had. I bought one as like a demo or whatever. I had that jacket until about 2 months ago. I finally like did a closet clearing, and it was pleather, so it was just flaking blue crap. Like as I was pulling it out of the closet, it was just covering everything in blue flakes. So finally got rid of that thing. But Eric gets so hot no matter what our costumes are.
Well,
that
and church too.
Yeah. So if we had done leather jackets, it would have been a complete disaster unless we, played in Norway.
And I think that was
something.
that was what
outside
prompted the most recent change in the uniforms too, was like, we were like, okay, so we wore the patches for a while. Like what was great about the patches is you could just patch any long sleeve black shirt and you're like, it's a uniform, but then after a while, I think.
Well, no, I think specifically that Express shirt, and I don't know who found it. I'm assuming it's you two.
It could have been.
It had like
because it had
slim,
the epaulets on it.
It had but it had different. It had a bunch of different.
Everyone was
like,
working
fits,
out at the time,
because I'm a little stockier.
Specially tailored shirts. But
no, what I'm saying is it fit. They had versions for every member. I mean, it was the perfect shirt.
So it looked good on everybody.
Correct, because you could buy slim, tall, you could buy normal, you could buy athletic fit. I mean, but it was all.
And
remember
at the very beginning of those uniforms, we had the blue and black Nike high tops too. That said the megas and like each of our names.
I still have those.
I still have mine too.
Yeah.
I remember on flights, they were a pain in the ass because they were gigantic shoes. So you basically had to wear them on the plane because there was no room in the luggage.
Yeah, they're huge.
Put them.
Yeah. Who are these idiots?
Yeah, I think essentially what made us change the most recent time too was, and it was like Herschlib and Eric were like, no more sleeves. No more sleeves.
Dude,
no more sleeves, no more pants if we can help it. Like rompers. What if we did black rompers?
Rompers. Oh my God. This is perfect. Everybody gets a romper and they can cut off as much as they want.
I don't think think people are ready for that.